Welcome to the Sound and Fury YouTube channel. My name is Eric Wilfred Watson. Novelist Michael Connelly has defined the 21st century crime novel. He created the character Harry Bosch, he created the Lincoln Lawyer, he created Renee Ballard. Movies and television shows have been based on his works. He's a prolific writer. I think Michael Connelly is top tier when it comes to writing crime fiction. I would put him ahead of James Patterson, Karen Slaughter, or any other mystery or thriller novelist writing today. Recently, I came across a book of his that I didn't know existed called Chasing the Dime. This book is not connected to any of his other novels as far as I can tell. It centers around a character named Henry Pierce. Henry Pierce is a computer designer, quite brilliant, a scientist. He is on the verge of submitting a patent that could revolutionize how computers are made and make him a multi-gazillionaire. Everything seems to be going well until one day he receives a phone call from a man looking for a woman, and then he gets another phone call from another man looking for the same woman. This keeps happening over and over until he realizes that his new phone number was reassigned from the phone company, and the phone number used to belong to a prostitute. If this was real life, you'd think that's where the story would end. He'd just change his phone number and that would be the end of it, and that's what most people would do. But Henry Pierce had a missing sister and he feels empathy for this missing prostitute, so he decides to take it upon himself to investigate what happened to her. And he finds himself in a very large conspiracy that puts his life in danger, puts the lives of other people in danger, and eventually culminates in a climax that connects back to his company. It's a rather convoluted story in my opinion, which is why I think this novel really is Michael Connelly's okayest book. If this novel were written by any other author, I'd probably give it a better review than I'm giving it here, but because it's a Michael Connelly novel, I expected better, and I think that this is probably his worst book, but because it's a Michael Connelly book, it's still pretty good, which is why I say it's his okayest novel. The problem with the book is that the main character, Henry Pierce, for being a smart person, makes every decision detrimental to his well-being. He disobeys the cops when they tell him to drop the subject. He doesn't listen to his friends when they advise him to do the same. He doesn't do the obvious thing of just changing his phone number and moving on with his life. He says things to cops that make him seem even more suspicious. He really makes every decision wrong. And it's hard to read because anybody with a lick of common sense would do the exact opposite of what the Henry Pierce character would do, which I think is why Michael Connelly did not create more books in this series. I don't know, I've never read anything about it, I'm just making the assumption, but it seems logical that if Michael Connelly thought the Henry Pierce character was working, he would have created a series out of it. The book culminates in a situation where the main character does something off-screen, something that isn't written about, that resolves the problem, but Michael Connelly intentionally doesn't tell us what Henry Pierce did, so it comes as a surprise when we read about it, which I don't like because the entire book is from his perspective. Just skipping over a large chunk of what he decides to do to resolve the problem, only to reveal it at the climax, seems like a little bit of a cheat. I have to say this is the worst Michael Connelly book I've ever come across, but it's still entertaining, it still has a level of suspense, and you still want to know what happens next. It's a genuine page-turner. So paradoxically, it's a bad Michael Connelly novel, but it's a good novel overall, despite the main character's flaws and obvious bad decision-making. This has prompted me to take a look at some of the old Harry Bosch books. I have read or listened to the audiobook production of every single Harry Bosch novel, but it's been a while since I've read the older books, so I went back and I'm in the middle of reading The Black Echo right now, and I found a box set audiobook of a few of the middle novels. I plan on listening to those. After I've done a dive into the Harry Bosch novels again, I'll do another video on those. But in the meantime, until then, please hit that like and subscribe button. And also, if you'd like to support this channel and read a new book, you can purchase Judas Kissed by Eric Wilfred Watson on Amazon.com, and Becoming Quincy, which takes place in the same universe but has different characters, is also available on Amazon.com. EricWilfredWatson.com if you want to learn more about the author. Thank you for your time. Thank you for supporting and watching this channel.